And we begin this hour with a look at the legacy of pioneering athlete and activist Bill Russell. He died yesterday at the age of 88. Russell is regarded by many as the greatest champion in the history of professional team sports. He won 11 NBA titles with the Boston Celtics, including 2 as a player coach. He was named the league's most valuable player 5 times. After he retired, Russell continued to coach, and he also broadcasted NBA games for CBS Sports. In 2011, President Obama awarded Russell with the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his work as an outspoken civil rights activist. The NFL Today host and CBS News special correspondent James Brown joins us right now. He's interviewed Bill Russell on several occasions, and he knows him. JB, what's up? How you doing?
Nate, good morning and good to see you. And let me just add to that, first of all, that piece, which I believe was the final time that Bill talked, certainly at a network level with you, was a sensational piece because you got to see the real Bill Russell, very candid and honest. And he reflected today, meaning when you talk with him, exactly what he had articulated and he was about when he first came into the league.
JB, Bill Russell was very private, as you know, but you knew him. What was he like as a person?
I knew him mostly through those in his inner circle. He was very honest, very candid, team-oriented all the way, Nate, and I love the way his colleagues referred to him. He was the big fella in every way. I love what Bill Bradley, the Rhodes Scholar who played at Princeton and, of course, played with the New York Knicks, he said that Bill Russell was the smartest NBA player ever. That speaks volumes about him, and he was always about equality and justice.
JB, the covers of the papers obviously talking about Bill Russell. New York Post here, Lord of the Rings. And then the New York Times says a basketball legacy as rich as his laugh. Talk to me about one of your favorite memories of Bill Russell.
Well, as Nate was reading the introduction, Bill had a very close group of friends, Jerika, very defined set of friends that he loved and was exceedingly loyal to. The last time I talked with him was up in Boston at a big event where they had gathered a bunch of New England heroes. Bill Russell, of course, was the star, the biggest, literally and figuratively. And I wanted to get on that inner circle because I knew him mostly through his coach, Red Auerbach, Sam Jones, of course, the great player who just passed not too long ago, a teammate of his. Casey Jones, my coach my sophomore year up at Harvard as well. But Bill, I asked him, I said, Bill, you've got a close group of friends. Suppose you meet someone that you like a lot and would want them in that inner circle. What would you do? He paused for about 10 seconds, Jerika, and he said, well, you know what? I guess somebody will just have to go. So that was the way Bill Russell was. He kept that circle very tight.
That's a great story, JB. But I want to talk about his civil rights activism. As Nate pointed out in his obituary, he marched with Dr. King. He stood tall with Muhammad Ali during the 1960s, during the Vietnam War draft. Controversy. Can you just explain for us and put into context the legacy of his activism?
Very quiet, very passionate, but wanted to see equality for all. You didn't hear him bragging about anything, seeking visibility. He just did. You've seen that iconic shot of 1967 when he was there in Cleveland with all of those iconic athletes from across the sports world. They were there to talk to a young then Cassius Clay to convince him to go into the Army. It would be the best thing for him. And I believe Muhammad Ali was about 25 years of age with all of these seasoned, iconic athletes. He wound up convincing them that he was legitimate in terms of his anti-war feelings and not wanting to kill anyone else. And they left out of that meeting universally, unilaterally supporting him because that's the way it was. Bill was of course, a jokester, and I hope this is understood in the fashion that it was meant because it was a pretty tense meeting. But Bill at the end said, champ, talking to Muhammad Ali, he says, I just have one thing I'd like to get off my chest. And this is my version of it. He says, if you could just talk to the leader of your faith and just ask them if they could relax the rules on pork and on barbecue ribs, I'll be more supportive of you. So,
He had a great sense of
JB, speaking of getting things off of his chest, he was very honest. And when I sat down with him, as much as I wanted to talk about basketball, he wanted to talk about what it was like playing basketball on the court, but more off of it. And he dealt with so much, from what they were writing about him, what they were saying in his face, behind his back. Even the fans that cheered him on while he played, they looked at him as less than off the court. What was it like for him at that time, being the greatest athlete on the court, but then he had to deal with so much when he left it?
Nate, I think that speaks volumes for the mental tenacity. Certainly with him being very close with his teammates, that close inner circle that I talked with you about, by the way, one of whom was Bobby Mitchell, the first African-American who played for the Washington football team, a team owned by an owner who said that he would never have a black play for him. But he had that close group of brilliant athletes who kept him strong, enabling him to do that because he was a man first, as he indicated to you, and a basketball player later. That was secondary to that. But team was very important to him, and that's where he got his strength, which is why that story that you told or had pulled out of him in your interview, where in the Kentucky restaurant that he would not eat if his two black teammates couldn't eat with him as well.
Well, we do know he left big footprints behind, and there's so many individuals that are walking in those steps right now. JB, thank you so much. I'll see you in about a month when the football season starts. All right, buddy?
Hey, Nate, I'm trying to play catch up to you right now.
All right, talk to you soon.